Hey everybody, welcome to our final episode of the Dreamer's Edge podcast.
With Nicholas, I'm the video game correspondent.
Yannis, I'm a subtitle editor, sometimes cocktail enthusiast.
I'm Eric, I'm a teacher, sometimes writer.
And Chris, occasional writer and subtitling editor with Yannis.
And Francois, librarian and occasional contributor to the site as well.
And I'm Dimitri, editor-in-chief of IdGermanic.com and movie critic. And yes, you've heard right, this is our last episode. And the reason for that is it's not that we had a falling out or anything, although...
So we're having kind of a season finale kind of thing.
Yeah.
Series finale.
Series finale, yeah, exactly.
Series finale, holy crap, so we have to make it memorable. Okay, I will disagree with my own opinions. Wow, I've never been part of a series finale, but I feel genuinely honored.
Indeed.
Okay, so we were set on doing what?
Let's get to mail!
So nobody's saying anything, dude. Talk.
Moving on. Dimitri has our next question by Fringe Lover.
Do you think they should bring back double features at the movies like Grindhouse? My answer, I'll give it to you right away. No. I already resent movies that are over 2 hours and a half. I don't have time. I don't have time for 2 movies. I have a life. I'm busy. No.
I don't have the bladder for it. Honestly, I can't last more than 2.5 hours. It's kind of like, okay, come on. Can't do it.
Yeah, I agree. It's no good.
I'd say I actually love long movies. I mean, I won't say I like a movie because it's long, but if it's a good movie, then you want it to be long. I don't have a problem with a movie going to 3 or even 4 hours.
Yeah, but you watch it home.
Bladder breaks can be, they bring back the old Hollywood trope of the intermission. Which, is, when I went to see Amadeus, we had one, which was freaky, because all of a sudden everything went black, and I'm like, well, the story isn't done yet. He hasn't even died yet. So, oh, wait, that's what they used to do back in the old days. But I will say this, unfortunately, I think that people's attention spans nowadays, for better or worse, lack the ability to stay focused. I mean, a double feature, mind you, is a double movie. But the thing is that, if you end up with a really good one to start with, you just, if the second one isn't all that good, it just, it kind of loses your attention. I don't think that it's going to work.
Yeah, my issue with them is the same as Dimitri's. And having said that, I think it depends on the demographic that you're aiming for. Because when I was 14 and 15, I loved nothing more than going from, cinema to cinema at the Palace Theater or the Lowe's, watching 2 or 3 features if I could, stay up that late or stay awake. Yeah. So I think it can work. And the point you make about intermissions is great. When I was in Europe in 1999, I went to a local cinema, and there they had an intermission, and that was an interesting experience. But again, I think they can work. I think it's just a matter on which demographic you're targeting, because really it's about time availability.
I think you bring a good point. Like, when I was 14, 15, I love spending afternoons in the theaters. But, I'm a busy man. I'm on the go.
I think if they do it well, one of my fondest memories as a kid was going for a doubleheader in the drive-in, and the second was Clash of the Titans. I don't remember what the first one was, but it's just... but it's just the fact that you were there for that long, and, it became a thing. Granted, you're in a car, so you can fall asleep. I was 6 years old, but the thing is, if you brought that into a cinema and maybe changed the format a bit, and there was an intermission where you can go out and get a drink and kind of go in if your ticket was good, and it would be almost a little bit more casual, just they can kind of change it up, almost like a club atmosphere where there's this movie going on, that could be kind of interesting. I would, and if they're thematically related, or, and you've got something to talk about, there's a dark room to make out in, I don't know.
There's a guy saying, shut up, I'm trying to watch the movie.
The problem with the double feature, though, from an industry standpoint, is that theaters are actually pressuring movie makers to make their movies shorter so they can put more presentations and more commercials. The double features sort of goes against that, and so from an industry standpoint, double features means less tickets sold, and I don't know that they're going to go for that.
Probably more food sold, though, and that's where they make a lot of their stuff, and if you put in a couple of commercials during the intermission, I could see, and if it's only just Friday nights. Well, not even Friday nights, it would be Sunday night, because no one goes movies on Sunday, and you wouldn't want to ruin the big release on the Friday. Mm-hmm. But I could see it working.
All right. Good question. And Yannis will take us to Hack and Slashes.
Hack and Slash says, or asks, if you could change a movie in any way that you want, what movie would it be, and what would you change about it?
It's ironic. People will shake their head as they listen to this because I'm not even sure of the title of the movie.
So you would change the title?
Change the title? No. I believe it was called The Key. It's a Michael Douglas and Sean Penn movie.
No, that's The Game.
The Game. Thank you, Eric. You get 200 dinosaur points. The Game was a very interesting movie that had me question things all throughout. This is the kind of movie where you go, oh my god, I wonder what's going to happen next. Oh my god. Things keep happening in this movie, and you go from crisis to crisis to crisis right up until the end, where it culminates into something that is so unbelievable. And I have to say that 5 minutes from the end, it was the most awesome, brilliant movie ever. And then they completely cop out and completely gut the movie in every way, shape, or form.
Really? You didn't like the ending?
It was such a shock to me because I thought I've all the movies I've ever seen. Like, seriously, to be on the track to making this such an incredible experience, and to then say, well, I'm just going to tag on these last 5 minutes that are completely going to take everything down.
How would you change it, though?
I would cut off the last 5 minutes.
Okay, just cut off the 5 minutes.
Cut off the last 5 minutes, and I absolutely guarantee you
and just have the credits rolling. That's it.
Oh my god, yes.
Okay.
I guess mine would be that maybe Star Wars. I'd want Han Solo to shoot first.
Well said.
Oh, wait.
Are you listening, George?
George should be frozen in carbonite.
No, actually, it's maybe a little bit more recent. There's a movie that came out a little while ago called Avatar. It was a good movie. It was fun. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. It did its job. It sold 3D to the world at large. Suddenly gave us Sam Worthington as something we'll have to deal with for the next 10 years.
Damn you, James Cameron!
But I think it would have been a better story if it was told from the point of view of the natives of the planet Pandora, where they're trying to figure out this invasive species, basically. Because the story is very plotting, and just from that, I think it would have just been a kind of a tweak that would have made it a little bit more of a mystery, and still gave all the opportunity to kind of give us a spectacle of this world, and I don't know.
Well, as for me, it would be to change Eyes Wide Shut and, simply remove Tom Cruise and put a good actor.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah. There you go.
That would
or probably AI, just to have an actual ending, not 4 or 5.
Which one would you pick? Of the AI endings, which one?
When
would you pick?
he jumps off the building, cut.
Okay.
I'm like, perfect.
When I saw this question, Hack, the first thing I thought about was The Godfather Part 3.
Okay. What would you change about it?
Sofia Coppola.
She was okay. She was fine.
Well, that's actually a good point, Eric. Not Sofia Coppola on her own, but I would have totally removed the love interest story between her and Danny Garcia, because I thought it was an excellent film from the perspective of wrapping up the trilogy, but the problem with the film was that love interest subplot that was taking away from the political intrigue and sort of, catapulting the Corleone family from a southern New York, northern New Jersey power clan on the East Coast to, a functioning member of the Illuminati, which the involvement of the Vatican Bank and then things like that. I think that whole line was kind of muted by the fact that we were being distracted with this ridiculous high school love story. And so if I had to change anything, it would be just to remove that. Not remove the characters, but to remove that subplot.
Interesting. Catch and Release, a movie with Jennifer Garner, which the movie should tell you how it should end, and yet it doesn't end that way. And it drives me absolutely nuts. Because the whole movie is about how when you're in grief, you do crazy things, and sometimes you end up hurting the people around you because you're just so messed up. And that's okay. That's just part of the process. Don't be too angry at yourself because everybody goes through it. And then it tacks on an ending that's more worthy of a romantic comedy that completely deflates the entire point of the movie. And its title. It drives me nuts.
There's nothing worse than like spending 2 hours on a movie and being drawn into it, and to get to the end and to see everything undone. It makes you want to just like scream, go back in front, yell at the girl behind the glass and say, you want your money back.
Yeah, you can hear the wah wah at the end of the film there when you get a bad ending.
Yeah, kind of. Especially Catch and Release was really kind of like, it felt like a control test, like a test audience ending, where it's like, oh, the ending you have that makes complete sense thematically was sort of a bummer. I wanted a happier, and it's sort of like, no, the bummer ending was the right one.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Question by Philly Boy. There's a lot of comics adapted into movies, but what movies would you like to see adapted into comics?
One film that's come to mind that I think is visually striking on the screen, has a good story that would fit well within a graphic novel, and for me, that would be Seven by David Fincher.
Oh my God, I think you've just nailed it.
I think that would be, to me, that would be one of the best movie to graphic novel translations ever, because the film is exceptionally visually striking. It has an excellent story that I think would work, and I can just see the frames on the page just leap out at you. So with a good writer and a good artist, I think that film would work really well.
That made me think of something better.
Interesting.
No, I can't remember the director, or the name of the movie. As a matter of fact,
That's gonna be interesting.
Dark City.
Yes, with by Alex Proyas.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that would actually, very stylized. I could see it as a black and white graphic novel. I think it would, not maybe just a couple dashes of color. I think it would actually be pretty nice.
My vote is for the Riddick movies. I find that a lot of people dismiss them outright. I personally have a kind of a soft touch for the approach to storytelling, which is very much like Star Wars in a sense. So we don't explain the universe; we're just going to confront you with it. And I find that it's a universe and it has a certain mythology. I don't know. Like I think you could explore that within comic book context and really go far with it.
As for me, it's a little film that I like. It's called The Zero Effect, but I'd like to, when you say adapted to comic book form, it's kind of like a bit like a Sherlock Holmes story, The Zero Effect, and it's an interesting character, and especially that format that he can go from mystery to mystery, I think would be perfect for a series, especially a comic book. Yeah, I think it's something I would enjoy to see, like monthly, and what's the next adventure and everything else. So that would be the movie I'd like to see in comic book form.
Yeah, another film that I think would work well is Event Horizon.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, it's really good, and again, it's got a certain style to it, and you could really encapsulate the framing really well.
Oh yeah,
and the art, and I think it would work really well too.
Yeah, it'd be like Serpieri's Morbus Gravis Druna, but without the sex scenes, essentially.
Come on, Druna's awesome.
No, I'm not saying the sex scenes are bad. No, I'm not saying the sex scenes are bad. They belong in that book, but adapting Event Horizon would be exactly like Druna without the sex.
Interesting.
So how about you, Dimitri? Sin City?
From comic to movie, back to comic.
There's a Masters of Horror episode, which they're really more like mini movies, so I think that counts, right? Called Valerie on the Stairs, which I always felt belonged more on the page than on the screen. And so if you put that in a comic book form and had the writer, there's an author in it who's at the center of it, be a comic book artist instead, I think it would work really well.
Interesting answers all around, I have to say. And on that note, we shall move to our penultimate question.
Sure.
Ryan the Destroyer, who has mentioned in a comment that I interrupt way too much, but he still likes me. Thanks, Ryan. Yes, I do read comments.
Any big plans for you in 2014?
Well, whereas growing up, I always liked collectible card games or trading card games, TCGs as they're called in the cool internet lingo. And a lot of them are popping out now that are online. So you basically have your cards online. I still don't know what they're called, trading card games, but you have virtual cards, I guess. So I'm going to, play each and every one of them and give you reviews of which one are good, which one are bad, which one are fun to play for free, which one maybe if you could play if you invest a few coins in it. And it's going to be a new series that I'm kind of excited to write about because, again, those are the kinds of games I really liked.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
And we also expect, from my part, a video series about horror movies. So look forward to that.
All right, Chris will take us to Jumbie's question. Thank you for writing, Jumbie. What's your question?
Jumbie asks, is it a new concept? Cool. My question is, what is your opinion? The most scary movie. The Others is my favorite.
The Others is a great movie.
Yeah, The Others is really fantastic.
The Species series, for some reason, I still haven't been able to... I'm sure people will scoff at that and go,
You're scared of boobies.
No, not so much the boobies as when I don't know. I mean, when people's bellies start ripping open and stuff goes flying out of them, it's maybe it's the squick factor is pretty bad. I can actually go back to the original Aliens by Ridley Scott, which certainly.
Oh yeah.
I remember talking to somebody who saw it opening night and just telling us we had no idea what was going to happen in this movie. And I can't imagine being in that audience. Obviously, you hear about that scene, and it's there's a lead up to it. Even when you're a kid, I was 14, I knew about it even before I saw it. But man, seriously, whoa! So I guess I don't know. It's.
I think what you're saying in terms of context probably speaks for me too. Because when I rent a horror movie or watch a horror movie, I'm watching it and waiting for the scares, so it's just it's scary, but it's not the scariest movie. It's the ones that kind of take you by surprise. And the movie that I still remember being really traumatized about, and because I didn't expect it, didn't know what it was something I watched when I was really quite young, and I remember hiding under the seat in the movie theater, and it was E.T. And I don't know why, but it just really scared me, and I was crying. I wanted to get out of there.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I think it's a tie between two films. The first Frank mentioned is Alien. I really liked the setting of that film, and I think, back when I was a kid, of course I wouldn't be able to talk to this effect of the film, but the camera work and the fact that it's completely unseen, and there's, a potential spook around every corner, really, even to this day, sets me on edge. The other film is much more recent, is The Descent Part 1. I really enjoyed that film. And the reason is, there are many reasons. One, again, it's the same thing. It's the camera work. The director does a really good job of making the viewer feel claustrophobic in the cave. Something that I haven't really felt as a viewer since Wolfgang Petersen's Das Boot, where they do another good job of making you feel claustrophobic in small spaces. And of course, being trapped in a cave, that's quite effective. And the other thing I liked about the film is, in addition to the claustrophobia and the unseen terror, is the really strong female leads in that film, and that it made it for a really good roller coaster ride. And I saw it again recently, and it's the kind of film that I don't get tired of, even though I know it's coming. The way it's structured, it's really, really good.
For me, the most scary, I just remember watching Halloween and getting the living crap scared out of me.
Oh yeah, that's all.
Yeah, that was really scary. And I don't really like horror films because there I am, with a blanket over my head, crying like a little girl. And yeah, that was yesterday. I watched a horror film.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, isn't that every Friday night for you?
Yeah, just, seriously, man.
No, it's not.
It's not going to be a 14.
You're gonna laugh because it's not a very good. Well, it's a good movie, but it's not visceral in any way. But the movie that actually stays with me, that scares me, is Demoni, Lamberto Bava. It's so over the top, and I'm sure you're gonna watch it and you're gonna go that's not scary at all. And you're probably right, but it gets to me every time. And the concept of the movie is People are at a theater, they're watching a movie, and the movie has demons in it. And what happens in the movie starts affecting the people in the theater, and these start becoming demons and whatnot. And then it's a completely horrible, disgusting gore fest. Italian style, which means it's very surrealist, it's very impressionist. And I think that's why it stays with me. It's sort of like you don't believe in the reality, but you're slowly penetrating it, and by the end of it, your head is in a mad world, and that's the thing that stays in my nightmares.
Anybody had nightmares after watching The Ring?
The Japanese one or the
Both,
the American?
either.
The Grudge for me, like that girl with just a.
The Japanese one?
The Ring is with the videotape,
I
right?
think it's
Yeah.
just Japanese.
I saw the American version of The Ring, and I was actually quite ambivalent while going in, and was actually a little bit freaked out.
I have to admit,
Like,
it set the tone quite well.
Yeah.
Like just this sense of foreboding. You're just like, come on, just scare me so I can get out of this feeling. It kind of kept that up for quite a while. You didn't know what to be scared of, but everything was just kind of creepy.
It was very odd for me because I'm very much an adult at this point, and I was staying away from this movie on purpose. And I was just like, okay, I mean, it's made up, right? It's like special effects. I saw it with a group of friends, and it was a good thing they were there, because otherwise maybe I wouldn't be here.
I have a story about the Japanese version. I went to see it again, Montreal Fantasia Fest, and enjoyed it. Recommended it to my roommate at the time. And he went to see it the same night, but at a later presentation. And I'm, for those of you who don't know, I'm Asian and I have long hair. So, when he came back, I dressed all in white, put all my hair in front of my face, and just waited for him. He scared the crap out of me.
Jesus.
Did you guys stay roommates for much longer after
I guess that's it. We end on a slight whimper.
Yeah.
It is the end.
Okay, well, I guess it's a good time to talk a little bit about what's going to happen next with our podcast shows. Now, some of you may have noticed that we went spin-off crazy in 2013. We started Don't F with the Original, where we review the original movies being remade. And we started Idiomatic Top 3, and we started Expository Dialogue, which for all of 5 episodes before we ended that. And what's going to happen is now that we're ending the Dreamer's Edge podcast, we're going to go weekly with Don't F with the Original, and you can expect Chris, Frank, and Eric to show up very regularly on that show, as well as in Top 3, which is also going weekly, where we list our top 3 choices about random crap is what we do there. So those 2 shows are going to go weekly, and we're dropping the Dreamer's Edge podcast. And the reason for that is, as I said, that the title was antiquated to begin with, but it's also, we got a lot of letters going like, well, you guys are interesting, but I don't know what I'm going to get every week. Like, you don't have a theme. It's just sort of random shit you guys talk about. And we took that criticism to heart. Like, it's true. It's kind of hard to maintain an audience when we're sort of not giving you guys any hint as to what it is you can expect from our show. And that's why we're doing something a little bit more focused from now on.
That's why we started those series, Don't F with the Original, which is very focused on remakes, and the Top 3, which is Top 3. Very simple. So when you tune into those, you know exactly what you're getting.
Both those shows starting in 2014, that's Idiomatic Top 3 and Don't F with the Original, is going to be weekly, and you can expect Frank, Chris, and the gang to be there semi-regularly. And also,
Right on.
And what are you going to do? Are you going to list the topics for the next week before so people can kind of participate, so to speak?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
Sounds good.
If you're listening to us on podcast form, you can also find us on iTunes at Idiomatic. If you're still listening to us on the Dreamer's Edge podcast feed, that's going to go away soon. We're discontinuing that. So come find us at Idiomatic. All of the shows are there. You can get the backlog of shows. Everything's there. So I invite you to check that out. On iTunes, Idiomatic.
With an N, Idiomatic.
That's it for us. It's been a nice 5-year run.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No.
Here's to another 5.
Yeah, and we'll see you on other shows for another 5. See you guys.
Yeah.
the editor-in-chief of idiomatic.com and movie critic. And yes, you've heard right. This is our last episode. And the reason for that is it's not that we had a falling out or anything, although...
So we're having like kind of a season finale kind of thing.
Yeah.
Series finale.
Series finale, yeah, exactly.
Series finale. Holy crap, so we have to make it memorable. Okay, I will disagree with my own opinions. Wow, I've never been part of a series finale, but I feel genuinely honored.
Indeed.
Okay, so we were set on doing what?
Let's get to mail.
So nobody's saying anything, dude. Talk.
Moving on. Dimitri has our next question by Fringe Lover.
Do you think they should bring back double features at the movies like Grindhouse? My answer, I'll give it to you right away. No. I already resent movies that are over 2 hours and a half. I don't have time. I don't have time for 2 movies. I have a life. I'm busy. No.
I don't have the bladder for it. Honestly, I can't last more than 2.5 hours. It's kind of like, okay, come on. Can't do it.
Hey everybody, welcome to our final episode of the Dreamer's Edge podcast.
With Nicholas, I'm the video game correspondent.
Yannis, I'm a subtitle editor, sometimes cocktail enthusiast.
I'm Eric. I'm a teacher, sometimes writer.
And Chris, occasional writer and subtitling editor with Yannis.
And Francois, librarian and occasional contributor to the site as well.
And I'm Dimitri.
Back in the old days. But I will say this. Unfortunately, I think that people's attention spans nowadays, for better or worse, lack the ability to stay focused. I mean, a double feature, mind you, is a double movie. But the thing is that, if you end up with a really good one to start with, you just, if the second one isn't all that good, it just, it kind of loses your attention. I don't think that it's going to work.
Yeah, my issue with them is the same as Dimitri's. And having said that, I think it depends on the demographic that you're aiming for. Yeah, I agree. It's no good.
I'd say I actually love long movies. I mean, I won't say I like a movie because it's long, but if it's a good movie, then you want it to be long. I don't have a problem with a movie going to 3 or even 4 hours.
Yeah, but you watch it home.
Bladder breaks can be, they bring back the old Hollywood trope of the intermission. Which, is, when I went to see Amadeus, we had one, which was freaky, because all of a sudden everything went black, and I'm like, well, the story isn't done yet. He hasn't even died yet. So, oh, wait, that's what they used to do back